For a little while now, I have been dealing with a bit of an injury, a very minor one. I'm very grateful for that, but it's kind of impacted the way I go to the parks, and now I'm thinking about even more cruising. I've got several cruises booked over the next few weeks and months. So for me, this injury that I'm going to tell you about here has really kind of impacted how I think about these things and how I want to recover from it as fast as possible in order to continue to go out and do all of those fun things. But first, I want to say thank you. A lot of people, I've mentioned it once or twice in the videos, and I keep getting comments and messages saying, hey, Michael, how are you? How's your Achilles? All of that. It really does mean a lot to me. It shows that our community, we're all one together. We all care about each other. It's special. It really is, and I'm very, very grateful. Thank you for all of your thoughts. Thanks for messaging me. It does mean a lot. Now, to take you back in time, for a little while, I have been dealing with an issue with my Achilles. It's kind of I don't need to go into all the small details, but it's like an Achilles tendonitis, but it's coming from the bone. There's a whole list of issues. Don't need to go into every small detail, but it has been causing me issues for some time now. And you may have noticed I've actually started to kind of get more into the studio videos because by suggestions of doctors, and I want to continue this video by saying I am not a doctor, so any medical stuff I talk about in this one, I'm not a doctor. I'm just repeating stuff that I've been told and stuff that works for me. Okay, got that out of the way. So for me, this issue, it causes me pain, basically. I walk around, it starts to get more and more intense. Before you know it, you end up limping around the park, and it becomes really, really painful, and it just becomes an aggravation and something that kind of slows you down during the day. And you know me, for years, I just loved just going full speed, walking 10, 15 miles, just having a spectacular time. And in recent days, going on port adventures, going to Virgin Gorda, just walking around, having an amazing time. I use my feet a ton when I'm out and about. I think we all do, especially when we're out and about. How else are you going to get around? But recently, I've been dealing with this issue. For a while, I kind of ignored it. And I think a lot of people have probably done this before. You kind of just like, okay, I'll deal with it, a little pain, I can fight through it, just push through it. And, you know, this is kind of one of those issues where if you push through the pain, it only is going to make it worse. And so it got to a point where I had trouble just like walking around, like, you know, anywhere, the grocery store, for example. So I went to a doctor, a really good one, and she was telling me all about what it was, took all the images, all those things to make sure that she had a full diagnosis and told me what it was and how I can kind of deal with it. And I've been taking her advice, and it's been great. I've been taking it a lot slower. You'll notice that I'm not going as far as I used to when I'm walking. Apparently, it's a very long recovery period that hopefully will not involve any surgery, right? That's the hope. Long term, we don't know what the future holds, right? But I'm taking all of her advice to make sure that I am just following this laundry list of things to do, stretches and all these things to ensure that the injury doesn't get any worse, and hopefully can get to a point where I don't have to worry about it anymore and can go full speed walking 10, 20 miles a day. Now, my doctor gave me a lot of stretches. I don't need to get into every small detail. Again, not a doctor, just giving you advice. The stretches that I've been doing, the towel one on the stairs, super helpful. All sorts of great stretches that have really been helping a lot. You can tell the difference. But as I walk further and further, and I continue to, do based on the plan, walk further, you see it get worse again. So I don't know what the future holds. I'm looking forward to positive things. It could be a lot worse. I'm very grateful for that. So I'm definitely still dealing with it. It's just it's a part of my life. I'm going to be dealing with it for a while. There are going to be more studio videos. So if you see more studio videos from me, that's probably because I'm trying to rest it and not push it that hard, or maybe it's like a extra painful day. Whatever it is, that's probably the reason. Love doing the studio videos. Love chatting it out with you. Love trying new things. We had the call-in the other day, which was really cool, so stay tuned for even more of that. But over time, I hope we'll get to a point where we have recovered, to a point where we can go in the parks a lot more. So looking forward to that. Now, but today's video is not just about me and talking about this. I want to talk about shoes and walking and the things you need on a cruise or on a land-based vacation, wherever you are, and what to bring with you. Now, we've talked about shoes just a little bit in the past. We talk about packing lists and all that, but one of the big important rules to remember when you're going anywhere, basically, on a walking vacation, let's put it that way. You're going to be walking a little bit, whether you're on a cruise ship, land-based, doesn't matter. You want to make sure that the shoes you have are broken in. Don't try bringing brand new shoes where you're going. You will regret it 100%. I know I have done it before. It's not fun. Don't do that. Take the time to walk around with them, make sure there's no pain. I mean, like a week or two. Not like a day, like a week or two, to make sure these are the right shoes for you. There's no residual pain as you're walking around. It is going to help you a ton. Now, in addition to that, I've been told, and again, people have different opinions, so take all this with a grain of salt. These different insoles you can get can be super helpful. So I have one that's like like a super high insole here. I put it in certain shoes. Certain shoes can have some insoles, certain shoes have other insoles. Super helpful. Some doctors, and I was told this by my doctor, can actually make a custom one for you to fit your foot. So that's something to look into. If you're like me and if you deal with these things, something to look into. Don't know that much about it personally, but I've heard that it helps a lot. And I know friends and family who have used this before and have a custom-made, it's arch or orthotic or whatever it is, in order to make it easier for them to walk and just walk without pain, which is great. Now, you know, from a little while ago, I think it's been a few months at this point, I went to Fit to Run and I got my Hoka shoes, which I love. My doctor was actually recommending other ones that have more of like a flat bottom, and then you put a higher arch in it. So there's different opinions out there for sure for the best shoes, but you want to make sure you take that time. And I would invest in ones that are really meant to support you and give you the comfort that you need when you're walking around. I tell you from experience, I've worn cheap shoes before, right? I've gone out, just gone like, oh, let me just grab these quick $5 flip-flops I found here at wherever I was, Target, you know, and next thing you know, it's causing me issues. So that's where you want to really take that step, make sure that you're getting the right shoes for you and the shoes needed for each purpose. We've got a lot of cruises coming up, a lot. And I was thinking about it in advance of all this, and I thought about before this video too, what am I gonna need for the cruise? Of course, I'm gonna need my sneakers and some dress shoes, and that's where this orthotic comes in. But what else will I need? I'm gonna need some sandals by the pool. I really should not, I don't know about everybody else, but I personally have been told by my doctor not to walk around barefoot. Just something not to do. So the doctor actually gave me certain flip-flops here. These are Power Step. I will put links where I can in the description here. Power Step sandals, which I have found unbelievably helpful. But now I have an issue. I have indoor sandals. I'm going to need some outdoor ones too, because when you're at the pool or out on the beach, you're going to need sandals that work for you when you're walking around, right? So you buy the pool. If you're getting in the pool, okay, sandals come off. I get it. But when you're walking around the pool deck, got to have something to walk in. So having outdoor sandals and indoor sandals, these are just the things to check off your list to make sure you are set to go for your cruise vacation or beach party, whatever it is, having the right shoes for all the purposes of your trip. Another very important piece of advice that I personally have to learn to take more is to know when it's time to seek that, medical attention, whatever it is, in order to make sure that you are good to go, whatever it is. So there was a point where I was like, okay, I can just go through this, not an issue. Then eventually you start talking about it with family. It's like, man, this Achilles keeps hurting. Like, what's wrong with it? And then next thing you know, your family's pointing out to you, Michael, you're limping around. Like, let's go see somebody here. Knowing that it's time to do that earlier is always better than later. That's just my advice. I'm just giving you advice here. I'm glad I went to the doctor when I did, right? So it's like, okay, you don't need surgery now because you came to me now, right? I'm just trying to pass on the knowledge that I've learned from my own experience. I caught it apparently early enough and got the advice, got the tactics for stretching, all of that. And it's still going to be months of recovery and all of this and making sure that, everything's good to go. It doesn't get worse, no tears, all of that. It takes all of these steps to ensure that you're set to go, but taking the advice of friends and family and kind of hearing it out, being open to other ideas and being like, okay, probably just shouldn't fight through that pain. Like to a point, like, oh, I got a sore shoulder, hurts after a day, it's gone. Okay, maybe that's nothing, but it really depends on you. So you gotta, be willing to say, okay, maybe something needs to be looked at. And that's something that I want to continue working on. I think a lot of other people are also trying to work on as well. So just wanted to pass on that advice that I'm glad I took myself from friends and family. Now, with so many cruises booked, you're probably wondering, Michael, so are you gonna be able to walk around the ship? Like, what's up? Thankfully, cleared all that with the doctor. I was like, all right, can I go on this ship? Like, it's okay to do the adventures. She gave me all the great advice. Here's what you do with this level of pain. Don't do this. Got it all. So we're set to go. We have been cleared to go on a lot of cruise adventures, and I'm very excited to tell you that we have got multiple coming up over the next few days. I cannot wait to share it all with you. It is going to be a spectacular end of summer and fall season. In my opinion, actually one of the best times to go cruising because usually the crowds are lower, the prices are much lower, and they go to really cool places. So I am looking forward to sharing a lot of new places with you. Some excursions are going to be so cool. Lots of things to experience together that I am very excited about. That's a bit more of my story and some of my advice about shoes and walking and all these things that I've been dealing with. I'd love to hear any thoughts you have, any additional thoughts. If you have other ideas that I didn't think of, like, oh, you should wear this type of orthotic, or maybe you should wear this type of shoe, please let us know in the comments. Definitely want to hear from you. Thanks so much for being a part of the magic with me today, and a special thanks to our patrons for making it all possible. Until next time, have a magical day and see you real soon.